Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to
Mind Body Stuff. I'm Bernice.
I'm Kaylee.
And we're excited to talk to you today. We had a listener email a letter in, which we thought was really interesting. And she talked about honesty.
Honesty, yes.
And she was wondering, she had been very honest in a relationship, and it had made the relationship fall apart, would you say?
Yeah, or very difficult, challenging.
And it had changed
the
dynamic of the relationship. And so we thought we'd talk about honesty today because it's something that we hold in such high regard, I think, in relationship. And yet, don't you think in relationship, it has to be used gently, depending on...
Yes.
You know, like how we use honesty, when do we use honesty, how much honesty do we use in relationship?
Yes. I agree. I think it's so situational.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you really have to be sensitive to the situation and to where the other person is at. Sometimes people just aren't in a position that they can handle the honesty. Sometimes they just need support.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Like, you know, if someone breaks up with someone and you think he's a total jerk, you're still going to give the friend sympathy, I think. If they love that person and you're like, oh, you're not going to be like, I hated him anyways, you're better off without him. That's really not going to help them in that situation. I think validating somebody's feelings and letting them know that, like, it's okay for you to be sad about something that's ending. That's normal. So I feel like sometimes we have to figure out, okay, are these just my feelings, and are my feelings going to benefit the situation? Or do I need to just be gentle and compassionate to where they're at?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because, again, we value honesty so much, I think, in our culture that we you know, sometimes we make the mistake of thinking like, well, I was just honest. You know,
I'm just being honest.
I'm just being honest. I'm going to tell you, you know.
Right, like it's this righteous thing.
Right, exactly. And I think that's where honesty gets sort of misused.
Well, it can be abusive.
Oh, good point. Yes.
It can be super abusive, I feel like honesty can be.
And honesty is so subjective.
Oh, yeah. It's not like universal truth. It's your truth. It's your honesty.
That just made me think of that it is subjective. Like somehow I think that, well, I'm going to be honest now, so I'm going to really let you know how I feel about our relationship. And yet, of course, that's my viewpoint on our relationship, not necessarily your viewpoint on our relationship or anyone else's viewpoint on our relationship.
Yes.
I run into it in my therapy practice a lot, obviously, because, you know, there's that balance of being honest with a client, but of course the same thing you're saying is, you know, I have to really judge what I'm going to say, because is it based on my needs? Or is it really beneficial to the client?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because sometimes it may not be beneficial to the client.
Yeah. Or you have to realize also that I feel like in any situation, this is why I think it would be really hard to be a therapist. How do you not bring your own personal truths into the relationship with your client? You know? Because I think as humans, it's so natural to be like pulling on our own personal experience to then, well, I'll just give an example. Like, as you guys know, I like to have my chart read. So maybe like 5 years ago now, this woman was reading my chart and she started talking about herself. She's like, oh yeah, I was in a situation like this, whatever she's talking about, like when her whatever was rising, whatever. And then I started to realize no matter who is even though she's reading my chart, it's still always being filtered through her lens. It's always being filtered through her experience. And so I think as a therapist, it would be really hard to not or to figure out how to use your own experience, but for the good of the client, but understanding that there's always a filter in which we see the world that are our truths. And so I'm not even just with a therapist and a client, but just two human beings in relationship with one another. I think that we need to recognize that truth for us isn't always truth for somebody else.
Yes. And that's such a good point. And we have to be aware of, again, what is honesty?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and I'm just going to read one sentence that she wrote because I actually, in this situation, here, let me just read it. She said, so she's talking about how she was honest and then it changed their relationship. And then she's saying, but I find that when I am honest, it generally doesn't provide good results because people are faced with being more honest with themselves too. So is honesty what we really want? So I think that's a really good question. I think it's something to really think about because I'm sure we've all been in situations where we've been honest with a person and they reacted in a way that like put up walls, they became defensive, they became offended, whatever it is, and then you feel that shift in relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think sometimes we have to figure out how big of an investment do I have in this person? Because if the investment is low, then I say, you probably shouldn't always be honest, you know? But if the investment is really, really high in this person, then I say, yes, honesty is important. So I'm going to just use an example that is personal to me. Whenever anybody says, like with a partner, don't even try to change this person, you can't change people, I totally call BS on that. So when I think about my partnership with my husband, we met when I was 19 and he was like 21. If I literally went into that relationship thinking that he was going to be the same person he is as a 21-year-old young man and I was going to be the same person that I was as a 19-year-old young woman, that is not who I personally want to be as a 65-year-old woman. I don't want to be stuck who I was as a 19-year-old. And I think it's really important that we have relationships where people can help put that mirror back up to us and say, listen, I feel like this is unhealthy, or I feel like, you need to maybe work on this. Mm-hmm. And it's when we have this high level of investment with another person that we can have that honest communication and help each other become the best, that we can help each other evolve and grow. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about relationship is they can help they can help show us things about ourselves that like our listener, she said, because they have to then be more honest with themselves.
Right.
And you're like holding up a mirror. Your honesty or your reflections or your thoughts can sometimes ask people to hold up a mirror. And a lot of times maybe people don't want to do that. They're not ready. But I think it's if you're in a committed, high investment relationship, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think, and that's such a good point in terms of like, what type of relationship are you using the honesty in?
Totally.
And if you're in a very committed, of course, you know each other very well too, mm-hmm. or you're committing to each other. So you're going to expose a lot more of yourself than you normally would expose. Yeah. But of course, when we hold up that mirror or when we have that honest interaction, we have to be willing to not always get the response back that we thought we would get.
Yeah, or that like feels good necessarily.
Yes, right, exactly. Because oftentimes we might have an expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to reveal this. I'm going to talk about this with you. Yeah. And then I'm going to feel that we're going to go even deeper. And maybe the other person's like, no.
I don't want to go there.
I don't like that. Or I completely disagree with that.
Totally.
And then it's like that shock because, of course, as humans, we have these expectations built into our interactions sometimes, which makes it hard for our interactions sometimes. That's why I love therapy, because a lot of times, well, especially in the beginning, you don't have bias too much.
Oh, sure.
You don't know the individual, nor do you have a relationship person. You have a professional relationship. So for me, I can be much more open with them.
Oh, uh-huh.
I feel like, well, they're leading. Like, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. Uh-huh. And I feel like, good, I don't have to put any parameters on that. Oh, I just need to know where you want to go with it. Yeah. And then we can help get you there. But let's say if it's my kid. Uh-huh. And my kid says, but this is where I want to be. And I'm like, oh, I don't think so. Uh-huh. If they're honest with me. Uh-huh. And maybe they're like, I want to drop out of school. I want to go, wherever. I want to do the Appalachian Trail for 6 months. My bias right then would be, and my honesty would be, well, that's a dumb idea. Right. Because, you don't have the luxury to do that. that's going to cost too much money, blah, blah, blah. Of course, that would be my honest response.
Yes. But if it were someone that you didn't know, you'd be like, how great. What an adventure. I hope you have a wonderful time.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. Or let's say you're at a restaurant and let's say you kind of liked your dinner, but the waitress comes and is like, how was your meal? Probably you're going to say, it was great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Because like, what's the point? But that's why I think it's important when you think about the investment that you have in these relationships. And I think when you're invested heavily in a relationship with someone else, I think we owe each other honesty.
Yes.
And I think we also have to be prepared for them to not always receive it well, but then are we still committed enough to the relationship to say, it seems like our relationship has changed since we talked about this, or did I hurt your feelings, or did this bring up anything that you want to talk about? Like I want the relationship with you where we can really explore our own thoughts and we can explore these we can be honest with each other, and we can learn from these interactions, both of us on both sides of this. So maybe there's something I need to learn in this too. I need to learn why this triggered me, or why I felt like I needed to bring this up. And I think that we kind of owe it to each other to have those honest relationships. Because what's the point? We want to just not offend anybody ever?
Yeah, no. And then how do we grow? And also, how do you find out kind of where you're at with people?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I think as a relationship deepens too, the honesty increases.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
No, you'd like to think so.
I'd like to think so. But
Right.
it increases and increases. And that's when you know you're in a good relationship, I think.
Right.
Because it's like we are tolerating each other's honesty. And honesty isn't being used abusively.
Yes.
It's not like, well, you asked me how you looked in that dress, and I said,
I think you look terrible.
You look terrible. You have a big ass, and whatever it is. Joe, my daughter has a friend that she's always super negative about whatever Joe puts on, and sometimes I'm like, I would not have a friend like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
And sometimes
Totally.
It's not true. It's kind of her own opinion of
course
how
it's her
people
own-
look.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey,
But here's the thing about Joe is I feel like she's probably so grounded in her sense of self that it doesn't bother her. I mean, maybe it bothers her.
No, I don't think it bothers her as
Probably
much.
doesn't bother
She
her as
kind
much
of
as it would bother you.
appreciates it.
Because she's grounded in who she is, and she has enough confidence that somebody else's honesty isn't going to break her down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But for me, I have a really hard time with relationships that I can't be honest.
Oh, yeah.
With?
Yeah.
Can I end it with a, what is that?
Is that a preposition or?
I don't know.
What is it?
But I think that this is such a tricky part of human interaction.
And maybe it is, again.
Oh, can I say something?
Yes,
it just
hit you.
I think it's interesting because honesty can also reveal some really dark truths about ourselves. And so being honest can be sometimes scary to people because then they kind of have to own their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I think it's fascinating. Okay, this concept of, sorry to bring up current events again, but when everyone is like, oh, but she's such a nice person. Oh, she's such a nice person. There are a lot of quote unquote nice people who have really dark and mean thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And then situations can cause those to flare up. You're like, wow. But
Like,
that's how you feel about things, that this is really how you think. These are your truths because you're always so nice. Or like, the Nazis. Oh, but he was so nice. He was such a nice neighbor. Yeah, but his honest truths about how he felt about people and things, is like there's a darkness when you actually just like own some of your stuff. And I think honesty can bring up, I mean, that's a very extreme example, but what I'm saying is sometimes we're afraid of our own honesty because we're afraid what's going to come out. So it's much easier to keep things on a pleasant level with people.
Maybe that's why I have trouble with those, the relationships that are just on the surface.
I have a very difficult time with relationships that are on the surface.
Yeah.
I really struggle with them.
And
I'm like, what do you actually think?
Yeah.
What are you actually feeling right
now?
now?
Well, I can't read the person. I'm always like, I'm not sure where they're coming from.
No, I have such a hard time with those relationships.
And then I kind of base my interaction off the other person, too. So if I can't read them, then I feel like I'm, like, looking into a dark alley, and I'm like, I don't know what direction we go.
I have the most awkward conversations with people when they're just, like, on the surface. Because I'm like, what are we doing here?
And I inevitably say a wrong thing. Or I say something too honest or too straightforward, I think.
I feel like you're so good. No, I don't think that. I think that you are so good about infusing humor.
Yeah, maybe if I say something negative, then I try to lighten it a little bit if I see the person like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're really good. I think you're great about, you're much better than me because I don't have humor to rely on. So then I just get in awkward silence. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is very awkward. I'm like, shall we talk about something deep? No, I just met you. I'm like, oh, can we not talk about deep things because we don't know each other yet?
What do we talk about then?
Talk about our feelings.
I'm not sure what we talk about.
I know, and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
But maybe that's why honesty is not an issue as much.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love honesty.
But it's not, but it doesn't, because I think if you're in a relationship that isn't that deep yet, it's difficult you kind of balance the line of honesty, I think, in those relationships.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for me, that's where I get confused.
Oh,
I'm like, so you're this type of person?
Oh,
And then the person does something different. I'm like, oh, okay, so you're not that type of person. So what's the story that I'm hearing? You know, I can't, I'm having a hard time understanding. Because if you're just an honest person, you're kind of like, and my story was this. I put on a blue dress and I went dancing and I met John and then we had cookies. Right? Or something like that. But if you have a tendency to, you know, tell stories, maybe a little bit, it's like I had a red dress maybe, and then I met Miranda later, and then we went, you know, to the beach. And it's like, but wait, didn't you just say you met John and you had a blue dress? Right. And that's when I get all like, what's the story?
Yeah.
That type of honesty. But of course, some people are just storytellers, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't make a judgment about that.
I have a really hard time when I feel like someone isn't being honest to me. It's really difficult for me. Because I would always prefer to know exactly how someone is feeling about something, even if it's hard to hear.
Yes.
And
you always ask, too. You always ask. Yeah, you're like, so how do you feel?
Oh, yeah, I always want to know.
You always check in.
I don't think that's how everyone should or wants to live their life, but for me, I am very much like feeling based, and that's what I care about, is how people is like the feelings. Like maybe like for sure my husband, he's much more like practical. Yeah. Like the feelings aren't necessarily as important to him as just like, okay, well, these are the facts.
Right.
You know?
And we're doing this, and then we're going to do that.
Yeah, and so for him, it's not as important, you know? And I think that he kind of more feels like feelings are fleeting, feelings can change, they can morph, you know, depending on
things on feelings, probably.
Yeah, and I can respect that too. It's just not how I am. He's so good interacting with me though, because he knows, like, I want honest, but he's always going to be like, now, I'm going to tell you something. You kind of brace me. Like, is my initial, because I mean, I'm also sensitive too. So when I do hear an honest thing coming from someone's mouth, like my first initial reaction is to be like, what?
Yeah.
What?
You kind of answer with fire too.
I do. I totally like answer with fire.
Yeah.
So he's good because he always kind of warns me.
He's
gently.
Smart.
He'll touch my hand gently. Now, don't take this offense. I'm not saying this for whatever.
Right.
Like, okay, thanks for warning me.
That's actually,
you know, my tendencies
That's
here.
a great tactic though in terms of using honesty too. If you are in a deeper relationship, you know, it is kind of nice to let the person know ahead of time, to give them sort of a warning. Like, so I'm going to say something now.
Totally.
And that versus just sort of coming out of the blue. Like, I really don't like it when you said that, and the person goes defensive right away, I think. But if you can kind of warn them, like, I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
And you may not sit with you.
Yeah, I definitely think it needs a lead up. I think you're totally right. And I think, you know, if you're bringing up something that could create conflict within your relationship, I think just always starting with like, your friendship or, you know, this relationship is really important to me and I love you and I value you, but there's something that I need to talk about because it's weighing on me, or because it's, it's creating conflict in my own life, or whatever it may be. And I love you, and I want us to be able to work this out. And I want to be able to talk to you about this because you're important enough to me that I want to figure this out.
Yeah, I love that.
And I mean, I don't know if it always works, but I think, just giving that precursor of my honesty isn't intended to be harmful or hurtful. My honesty is intended to bring us closer and to make our relationship stronger.
Right. Oh, I like that.
I think that's...
So you diffuse that defensive response.
Yeah, or just say, I understand that you may have this response, but I want you to know that I'm going to stick with you through that response because I love you. Mm-hmm. And I'll be here. And this, like, I can't always do this. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm not saying I do this. I just think that this is probably
that would be like
to do it.
An A+ type thing to do, though.
Yeah, and I mean, I've definitely also been in the situations where I've used my honest feelings as a way to harm people.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was just thinking. That, like, how can honesty done that. Harm?
Oh, yeah. Totally. Mm-hmm. It can be really hurtful.
Yeah.
And again, I think honesty and truth aren't the same.
Oh.
I don't think they're the same because they are subjective, and I can be honest with you about something in this minute, and 2 days later, that may not be the truth anymore.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
And so I think we also have to be careful. Like, is this my stuff that I want to project out? Honesty is tricky.
It's a tricky thing because I was just thinking of my friend who's in a relationship right now, and her partner is interested in another person, and the partner is like, "But I have been honest."
Oh,
there's this whole like, I have,
I haven't done it. I
have talked with you.
Told you.
I have told you about this, and it's almost like the partner's hoping that is going to sort of ameliorate the pain. Because I have been honest.
Right. I haven't done anything wrong. I've been honest with you about this from the beginning.
We've been processing it, honestly. And yet he's shocked that there's pain with the honesty. But it almost feels sort of manipulative in a weird way.
Oh, it can be super manipulative.
Yeah, and it's like, I know you're honest, but, it's still hurtful.
Totally.
And it's still going to change the relationship by what you're intending to do with your honesty and with your plans. Even though you're telling me what you're doing, it's hurting my feelings.
Yeah, yeah. It is. It's really interesting to think about it as, like, abusive or as an excuse or, like, as a justification.
Yeah, because I've been honest. I've told you, Kaylee, I haven't liked this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And so now I don't want to do it anymore. And you're like, well, okay,
Yeah.
But it's like, but I've told you.
So would you say you personally have a tendency to be honest or like, what do you think is your tendency? Because my tendency is definitely towards honesty.
I'm more middle of the road, I think. I mean, I tend to be honest sometimes when I don't want to be honest, but it comes out, and I'm like, oopsie. That came out. Or my face will do it. I might say
Your
something.
Face definitely does it. Your face totally does it.
And I think I'm like, I am such a good actress. Nobody even knows. I'm like, sure, I'd love to have ice cream. But my face is like...
Your face freezes up.
Yeah. I want
Even today, you walked in and you're like, oh, I forgot you were pregnant for a minute. I was just thinking you were getting fat. I'm like, oh, thanks.
That's why she loves me.
It's nice to hear what you think about me in your head.
I totally forgot. And I'm like, look at her tummy. And then I'm like, oh, she has a baby. Hello, B. Wake up.
No, it's funny, though. I feel like you are kind of accidentally honest.
That was a great way to put it. I'm an accidental honester.
You're an honester?
Yeah, I'm an honester. Accidental, just like an accidental tourist. I'm an accidental honester.
But I have a hard time trusting people who I don't think are honest. I think that's another issue with honesty, that if you're not being honest with me, then I can't trust you.
Yeah, and I don't really want to have a relationship with them very much. Well, as I get older, I'm just kind of like, like, really?
We can talk about stupid stuff that doesn't matter all day long. I can't because I'm awkward. Like I said, there's a lot of awkward silence.
I can, but it makes me tired. I get so tired. I'm like, oh, it's tiring.
Oh my gosh.
And I hardly ever get tired. So that should be like a good indication to me. Like when I'm right. Yeah, when I'm like, I am really getting tired right now.
Yeah.
Need to shift the energy here. You know? But honesty.
Is that a song?
That's an old song.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's such a something weird to be untrue.
It's lovely. It's lovely. What do you guys think? What's your MO for honesty?
And how do you use it?
Yeah, you know, how do you know when to be honest? It's hard. I feel like it's hardest when A, you know it's going to hurt somebody, and B, when someone is going through something really difficult. And so sometimes you have to be more of like a
sounding board, maybe.
Yeah, or just like comfort them.
Yeah, yeah, that is a good point. Because even
I'm really sorry, when really it's like, well, here's the deal. If you had your shit together, then this wouldn't be an issue. Or like, I'm sick of hearing you complain about this. Okay, go and do something with your life.
Right. Like, what a terrible choice. You've made it 10 other times.
Quit making the same mistake over and over and over.
And they're just being honest. Like, that's a mistake. I just did it again. You know?
Yeah. But I think that there are ways to phrase it that feel less brutal.
Yes.
So it's like, I wonder why this keeps happening in your life. I wonder why this is still an issue in your life.
That's how therapists
just
do
questioning
it. Because then it really, because if you just have an honest reaction, like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
You've done this 10 times before.
Totally.
Versus opening it up, giving them an open-ended question.
Yes, opening it up as a question.
Exactly.
Like, it's interesting that this keeps happening. I wonder what it is. Like, I wonder if there's like a lesson in here, or I wonder if there's like, you know, some pattern of behavior or pattern of thought. Like, it'd be interesting to explore that more.
That feels so much better too to me.
But it still is asking them to be honest with themselves.
Yes.
I think, inviting that honesty.
And maybe inviting their honesty.
Totally.
Maybe it's not about
that self-reflection.
Honesty or our honesty. It's about the other person's, like inviting them to self-reflect.
Because I have a lot of compassion for people, except when I feel like they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result, or they're still talking about this same thing, and it's like, okay, well, make a change. But again, I'm action oriented.
Yes.
Like I feel like if something doesn't feel right, like, okay, what are you going to do about it now?
Right.
So I think that my honesty can bite the most when I get tired of hearing somebody complain about the same thing over and over again.
And I love that you said you're action oriented, because some people aren't.
Yeah, and they need to just talk. They just need to sit with it and talk with it a lot longer than I have the tolerance for.
They might want to talk about it for 5 more years.
And that's why that's when I need to be very careful about my honesty. Because I have friends who are, sitting in situations that are lasting years and years, and I'm starting to notice that I'm not as good of a friend about that anymore, because I'm like, okay, now do something.
You're frustrated. Yeah.
I mean,
frustrated like in the sense that why don't you take action?
I just don't really care anymore, because I'm like, you're doing nothing, so I'm not really going to sit here and listen to it anymore.
La 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 la.
Okay. Let's go. Where are you going?
Let me tell my story one more time. But that is true, that some people are not action-oriented.
Totally. They can process for a lot longer, or they can tolerate things for a lot longer than I can. I mean, I have a pretty short... I'm impatient. So when things aren't sitting well with me, then I'm pretty quickly going to do something about it.
Yeah. I was just thinking about another person I know.
Which isn't the greatest thing to do. I mean, I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. That's just my MO.
And my husband was smart. He said, before you do anything, wait 24 hours.
You always tell me that too, because I'm like, that's how I like. You're like, let's sit on it until tomorrow.
Well, because I used to always do it.
Like me?
Immediately. Yeah. And it worked half the time.
It works about half the time.
Half the time.
It totally does.
The other half the time,
it totally works out.
It didn't really work. And I was like, why isn't it working? I took action immediately.
Right.
But then he was right.
Yeah.
It's like, he's like, if you're going to do it, you can do it tomorrow.
Totally.
But just sit with it for a day. And I'm like, a day?
But I want to be done with it now.
Yeah, I want to be done. I want to check it off my list, be done. He's like, it has helped me in that action-oriented decision process.
Yeah.
Because you still get to do something about it, but you get to just think about it for 24 hours before you do it. which is super helpful.
I think sometimes why I want to do things immediately is because I really do like passion as well. I'm like, well, maybe I won't be passionate about this in a day. Like, I want to act on my passion usually.
That is a good point, yeah.
And then it's kind of like, well, if I wait tomorrow, maybe I won't care about
this
anymore.
I won't want to argue.
And then it's like, yeah.
I won't have a good, like, I'm not going to go march down the road tomorrow because I won't feel fired up anymore.
Yeah, I kind of like to use my fire as fuel, and so I'm kind of like, well, maybe there won't be any fuel to this tomorrow.
But then what he says is like, oh,
that's probably good.
Probably good. But if you still have fuel tomorrow,
then you know that, yeah, you might want to,
right?
You might want to act now, or start that hard conversation, or
exactly. That's the other thing about honesty. Maybe sit with it for a little while before you decide to use it in relationship too.
Yeah,
like I really want to talk to my friend about her abusive relationship, whatever it is. But you're like, let me think about it for a day. And then let me think about how I want to present it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go into it.
Isn't it interesting how we can also change as we go through life? And I think back to how I used to handle conflict when I was younger, and I just completely shut down. Like, I would just not talk. Like, I remember being a kid and just like, I could just go for so long without speaking.
Oh, you're good at that too. You still do it sometimes, not very long.
I don't feel like I do anymore. I feel like I'm more just like throw fire at a situation.
Well, sometimes you get kind of grumpy for a little while. I'm like, oh, she's grumpy.
Who doesn't get grumpy sometimes?
I don't.
Okay.
But then you do take action. It's not like silence forever. Then
I could go for days.
But I could see where I'm like, oh, she would be powerful at that.
Oh, I could go for a long time.
It's like passive aggressive. That's really That's strong too.
Now it's just aggression. Now it's just aggressive aggression. Not sure which is better.
It's aggressive aggression.
I'm passionate, okay?
You're passionate.
I'm passionate.
And you get stuff done.
I'm very passionate.
And I think we've changed over time.
I would hope that we change over time. I hope I'm not the same person that I was when I was 15 or 25. Like, I hope that I continue to change. And I hope that I keep upgrading to a better version of myself.
Yeah, me too. And with honesty, I hope in our lives.
Honesty!
Who sings that?
We need to look it up.
It's like, anyway, I'm not going to remember that, but.
Michelle, can you do that? Can you play that song at the end? Or we're going to get handed with a copyright song.
Whatever. You should pay us. You love that song, whatever artist you are.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah, you want us to sing your song.
It's Lionel Richie, maybe.
Is it?
I don't know, I made that up. I'm just being honest.
Oh, my God. Great question, though. I'm not sure we came to a resolution. Let's see if we can sum them up.
Well, one of the things we said is we have to know what type of relationship we're using it in, right?
Yes. Can the relationship handle, first of all, the honesty?
Right.
And are we going to see it through to the end of this?
Exactly. And some relationships can't.
Some can't.
And that's okay too. You just have to sort of ask yourself,
right?
Will this relationship handle that? And maybe you're like, no, maybe not right now.
But then that's not that close of a relationship.
And maybe you don't want that relationship.
Maybe you do.
Or maybe you want to grow a year or two, and maybe you can use it then. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then remembering that honesty is not the same as truth.
Yes, and that it changes depending on where we are at.
It's subjective.
Totally.
Sometimes even I think, like, me of all people.
I do?
What?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I'm being honest because it's the truth.
Right.
Like, even when you said that right then, I'm like, it's not the truth.
Yeah, right?
But of course, no.
It's my truth in this moment because of my situations that have led me to believe what I believe about life and myself in this moment.
Exactly.
Which can change.
Exactly.
Totally.
So I better not ride my high horse of honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the high horse of honesty. I do that
sometimes because, like, I know. I know why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. Totally.
It's just my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if the relationship is really important, then being very careful how you phrase the honesty or making it just an invitation for them. Here's what I think.
I love that.
Making it an invitation for them to be more honest with themselves. And then we also have to recognize and realize they may not be in a position that they're ready for that level of honesty with themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We can't have expectation, or we have to be aware of our expectation when we go into that dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. And not using our honesty as a weapon.
Yeah.
But using it as an opportunity to strengthen the relationship or to help somebody that we love. What's the Joni Mitchell song where it's like, bring out the best in me. I
don't know.
I want to love you.
I don't even
but
know.
It's all about like bringing out, like relationships are designed to bring out the best in each other.
Yes.
And sometimes there's an element of honesty that's painful but is important. So I'm not saying never be honest, but I'm saying like if you're using it to bring out the best in that person, then I feel like the difficult conversation is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're using it to just hurt that person or to make them feel ashamed or to, you know, to be destructive rather than productive, then it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, so always question.
Which is really hard not to, because it can just be that
little
dagger that just feels good.
I'm like, well, that is true, actually. You know, when someone uses those daggers. And then I'm always like, yeah.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah, oh yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
But great question.
Yeah, super.
What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yay or nay? What feels more comfortable? Do you avoid honesty because you're afraid of the consequence or the repercussions or the difficult conversations that are going to come from that? Do you tend to just be more agreeable because it's easier? I can't have those. I've not had so many, but I've had really important friendships end. Even one as recently as maybe last year end because I felt like it was harder for that person to truly be honest. Mm-hmm. And so it was easier for that person to just be pleasant and nice. And then we couldn't grow. Our friendship couldn't grow because of that. Yeah.
Or are you too blunt? Are people too blunt?
Yeah. Are you too blunt? Because that's gonna be hard to be friends with you.
It's gonna be hard. Yeah. My dad had a friend like that. We'd go out to dinner, and he was just everything was just sort of like straightforward. Like it was never filtered. It was like this fish is terrible.
Oh, totally. It's really.
And then
really
I'm
hard.
like, dude, like be quiet. It's at the whatever. It's like it's not great, but we're at this restaurant. Let's have a good time.
Well, it's also like, can't you try to see the bright side of life, man?
Yeah.
It's like sometimes those kind of people just come off as so negative. It's
like,
come on.
They're like, that was terrible.
Can't you enjoy anything in this situation?
Yeah, that blunt. So
when like the first response, when you're like, how was it? And they tell you all the things that were wrong with it. Like, it's like, okay.
Which I
awesome.
could do too.
Great.
Like, I mean, I could if we're going to like do like, well, that didn't go well and this didn't go well or whatever. And I'm being honest, but it's like, well, but is it really helping anyone?
Yeah. Is anybody enjoying this?
Certainly not helping me in my viewpoint on life.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's because we know we go to the negative easily.
Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah. So, honesty.
Honesty.
Do any of you guys know that tune? It's such a something.
We'll find it. I promise we'll find it.
We love you guys.
Love you guys.
Keep sending in the letters too.
Thanks for writing us. You know who. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.